for us here today on Pure EVil MMA. Billy, Big Sexy Swanson joining us for, I think it's the third time you've been on our show now, Bill. And you've got a 3-fight day coming up in just a little bit here for the UMMAF National Championship. It's supposed to be an 8-man tournament between May 26th, 27th, and 28th at Elizabethtown High School, Tennessee. But what's going on, Big Bill? You just informed me of something.
Well, they released the names of who was in the weight class, and there's been some of the other guys that started pulling and backing out, which honestly, I don't know why you would pull from the opportunity. If you win, one, you're getting national recognition as a national champion, but two, you get the opportunity by the end of the year to go fight overseas and fight people from all around the world. So maybe they heard Big Sexy was in there and they started running.
Well, I didn't hear about that. What happens if you win? You go overseas and do what?
I always pronounce it wrong. It's the country next to Dubai. It's like Bahrain, something like that. But that's where they're holding the Worlds. So if you win the UMMAF Nationals, then they will pay your way to fly overseas and fight in Bahrain and fight people from all across the world.
So this is huge for you. You have a 6-1 amateur record. You're only 23 years old. Have you ever been overseas before? Because I certainly haven't.
No, I haven't. So, honestly, because I was looking at going pro by the end of the year. But, if I win the national tournament, that's an amazing opportunity. There's professionals that haven't gotten an opportunity to fight overseas and probably never will. So to be able to represent Team USA as an amateur and go over there and fight people from all across the world, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
So another big thing about this about the show is that Matt Hughes is actually going to be there. Now, I got to ask you this. Have you ever met Matt Hughes before since you're down there?
I have not met Matt Hughes, and it's kind of awesome because he's one of the first people that when I first started watching MMA and started understanding that that's when he was dominant.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be an amazing opportunity for me to kind of meet one of my childhood idols.
Yeah, for sure. I've never met him before, but there's been some rumors that he kind of wants to come back into the fight game, maybe like a Legends fight. Would you be interested in watching that because he's such a well-known fighter?
Yeah, but see, the problem is a lot of people don't understand the toll that fighting takes on your body. You get beat up on a daily basis. So, you've only got an X amount of time that you're able to compete. And if you really look at it, you look at Randy Couture in his late years, you look at Chuck Liddell and his, BJ Penn, all these guys who were great back in their peak. But as they've gotten older, their bodies just won't allow them to be able to compete like that against a guy who's in their prime at 26, 27. And so, I would watch it. I think a Legends league would be awesome, but at the same time, I don't really know how I feel about the safety of them actually in there doing it. Because like I said, they're all kind of starting to get up there with their age. Matt Hughes isn't that old, but if they start bringing guys who are 50, 55 in there fighting, I just don't think that their bodies are capable of withstanding the beating.
And I brought this up to a couple old-timers like Dan Severn that I've talked to, even James McSweeney about all of this. And he was telling us, the guys that are training now, they're starting to learn from our mistakes, with training or sparring and going hard all the time. Is that something that you do? Like when it's close to the fight week, you kind of just take it easy? Some guys don't even spar at all.
And there's still, you'd be surprised. I didn't realize there was so many people that do train the wrong way. I've met different people that they think that that's what it's about, is get in there day in, day out and just beat the shit out of each other. And like somebody who thinks that sparring if they think the understanding of sparring is to put your partner down and just beat the piss out of them, then that you're not understanding sparring. You can gain a lot from sparring without ever having to really hit your partner. Now, given you do got to kind of pop them here and there to keep them honest, and so they know what a punch feels like, but it shouldn't be me walk in to spar and just get in a slugfest.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. That there's a lot of people now that are learning that you can get good without having to do that shit.
Yeah, and you actually brought something up that reminded me of something I read last night. I actually just pulled it up here about how many people actually do criticize fighters. They don't give them enough credit. I mean, this is a game of streaks, and a guy could be on a 5-fight win streak, lose one, and then the opponent that beat him gets the hype. So I actually found this, and I thought it was perfect since you brought it up, so I'm going to read it really quick. It's easy to criticize a fighter, but nobody knows the sacrifices involved behind every athlete is lost youth to fulfill a dream. We lost friends, family moments, weddings, baptism, births, whole summers to train, compete every day, trying our best to improve. But people don't see that. So when you see a fighter, applaud, because to be prepared for slaughter takes much more than just a last-minute decision. To be great, it takes years. You know, Bill, how long have you been training?
I've been training almost 2 years. September will make 2 years where I really buckled down and was like, whoa. But no, I completely agree with what you just read, because even somebody who's got a losing record, you know, I wrestled for years, and so in one wrestling season I had like 50 matches. So if you lose one, it's not as harped on as much. But then you look at MMA, you know, you might only have, I think last year I had 5 fights. So if I lose one in those 5 fights, then everybody's so critical of, oh, you know, you lost, yada. But I mean, it's not like I get in a fight out here in a bar and, you know, split second, you know, we're throwing at each other. I mean, you've got, I take fights mainly about 8 weeks out. So I've got about 2 months to know. When you get to like UFC, you know, 5-6 months ahead of time before you fight somebody. So when you have that much time that somebody is training to specifically beat you, it's inevitable before you finally lose. And I mean, people are way too critical. Honestly, I think you should never make a negative comment about a fighter unless you actually step in there one time. Step in there one time, have the door closed behind you, and have the spotlight on you, and see how it is. Then it changes everyone's opinion.
I'm always very careful about what I say because I have so much respect for the fighters. As an athlete myself, you know, people tell people to retire all the time. I never say that. You'll never hear me say, oh, that guy should retire. Because you don't know what's going on. And like you said, unless you're stepping into their shoes, you really shouldn't make any judgments. But there are a lot of people out there, especially on social media, that hit at you. So I got to ask you this, Bill. You know, with you being on Flow Combat, with Valor Fights, have you had any people reach out to you, some new fans?
Yeah, actually, no. I've had a couple different instances through people that know me, or you know, people add me on Facebook or something and message me. But I've had different people that I train with come up to me and be like, yeah, you know, I was out talking to somebody and you got brought up, you know, that I train. And then they were like, oh, do you know BIlly Swanson? And so, yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, obviously, like, the more success I have and the more fights I have, the more it'll come. But no, it's awesome. Like, I'm open to all fans. Given I do talk a lot of crap to my opponent, but I mean, I end up, if any fan messages me, I try to reply, as long as, you know, I have had one creepy person message me, and he was kind of, I had to block him.
How'd it go? Let fill us in on that one.
It was a girl, and I don't know, man. She was sending weird messages that weren't making sense, and she sent me a voice message that
Let's get Bill back in here. Your camera shut off on us, Bill.
Sorry. Yeah, I was getting another call from someone else.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, here it comes. All right.
But no, it was kind of crazy. She was messaging me, and she was sending me voice messages, and like one of them, it was literally like if she was holding the camera this close, and she was like, "Hey, talk to me," and like, God
Another phone call.
Yeah. Trying to dang.
Dude, they're everywhere.
I can go all day and not have somebody call, and then I go to have an interview and everybody wants to call.
Well, I gotta warn you, Bill, with a name like Big Sexy, you're probably gonna get a few more as you come up the rising ranks here.
Well, no, I mean, like I said, I'm open to all fans. I just ask that, please don't try and be creepy. I mean, I'll carry on conversations. I just, I mean, it was it was very stalkerish. Like, it was kind of weird.
And you actually just had a fight a couple of months ago. For anybody that didn't catch that, because you came on to talk with us before that, and congratulations on that win. Chandler actually recapped it. But how'd that fight go? Anything that surprised you about your last opponent?
No, I mean, I knew Kelly was going to be strong. I figured, I knew both the fights he had hadn't been over a minute and a half combined. So I knew that, I knew he didn't really have the gas to, hang with me. And so I knew if it came down to it, that by the third he would be done. And I didn't really, I just kind of went out there and grappled him. I knew I had trained with him before. I knew he couldn't stop my grappling.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, I went out there, I grappled him because given, I was going to be having this UMMAF tournament, I didn't want anyone to be able to, really to critique my striking.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of hide that until the UMMAF so I can showcase it and no one really expect what's coming. I'm ready for some highlight knockouts.
So that was my next question to you, and one of the last questions here. For anybody that's going to be tuning in, and actually the people that are going to be going, you know what? First, let me ask you this. There's actually some VIP seats that are there. Are those still available? I saw there was 4 left yesterday. What's the update on that?
I believe that there are still some available, but like you said, there was 4 as of yesterday, and they were very limited. I mean those I'd say that, I mean, they're first come first serve, so you got to beat the people who get them, and there are like David Robbins usually sells a couple VIP tables wherever he fights. So, like I said, it's first come, first serve. But I'm trying to think of what else we were talking about.
I wanted to ask you, for anybody that's tuning into Flow Combat, last question here, Bill. What can they expect when they tune in?
Next step, I'm going to end up. I'm going to win this new UMMAF tournament. First off, I mean, whoever decides to show up and doesn't tuck tail and run, I mean, they can receive the beating like anyone else. And then I'm going to not have any fights during the summer, like June, July, maybe August as well, because we're going to allow some of the other guys from our gym to, kind of pop off a couple fights real quick. Because me and David Robbins have been, doing the UMMAF fights, like the first half of the year so far has been spent on us. And so we're going to let them kind of have a couple fights throughout that time. And then I might look to have another fight September, October, just to knock the rust off before the UMMAF Worlds.
Okay.
And then, and I'm going to do a no-gi 225 plus. It's a 16-man tournament,
nice.
Grappling tournament, like expert tournament.
Well, you're gonna have to keep us updated on all of that. But until then, May 26th, 27th, and 28th, it is going down on flowcombat.com, or you can get your tickets at fightertix.com. Bill, you know what we like to do at this point. If you have any shout-outs, sponsors, anything at all, wish luck to your opponent or any other men in that tournament. The floor is all yours.
I would like to, thank all my sponsors, Main Event, Fight Apparel, Tarina Morgan Photography, Amanda with Pure Romance, Carrie's Bonding Pounds Gym, Trucktown LLC, Steve's Landing, and Titan Towing. No, not Titan Towing. Twin Cities Towing. And RDZ Production. I would like to thank everybody at AKB that helps me put the time in. I'd like to thank Blaylock and Sid Wheeler for working with me. I'd like to thank people at Nashville MMA and Sid Thai Muay Thai up there, Chris Beasley and all those guys. And if anybody wants to follow me, I think on Twitter it's Swanson1994. Instagram is Swanson_Billy. And Facebook it's Billy Swanson. I believe on all three it's a photo of me fighting, so it shouldn't be hard to find. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Bill. We wish you best of skill come May 26th, 27th, and 28th. Thank you so much for joining us at Pure EVil MMA, and have a great day.
All right. Bye.